The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward.
You can get a reasonable amount of success by just winging it and just going as you feel. But I feel to reach the true heights, with to reach the billions, the amount of stuff that comes along with this life, you've got to have a structured life. You've got to live a life of structure, and you can't stray from that. And that's what we've done. We've set training times, we've set schedules, and we've stuck to it, and I've responded really well.
We're not here to take part, we're here to take over.
I'm not here to take part. I'm not here to shake a guy's hand and be the token Irish guy. I'm here to kill everyone in the division, to obliterate everyone in my path. That's fact.
And then sometimes we don't know what our innate ability is, and we're hustling and working our tail off and breaking a sweat to do something that we really aren't that good at on an innate level. And that's a good challenge. And you can work and become good at something that you don't have an innate ability for.
Look, this acquaintance said this. It came off the cuff. I didn't even think about it. She was like, Matthew, you're so full of yourself. And without thinking, I was like, well, who else am I supposed to be full of?
That's a good line.
And I stopped after. I was like, that's exactly what I meant. And I went and wrote that down. I wish more people were more full of themselves. Not in the arrogant way, but I'm talking about a healthy ego to understand. And I understand the ego's difference between.
Do you anticipate you fighting?
I don't give a fuck who. I'll be fighting myself. Like I say, every damn time, I repeat myself over and over, I'm fighting myself every fucking time. You know what I mean? Whoever has the belt has the belt. I don't give a shit who has the belt. I have the belt. You know what I mean? But in my mind, I will have my comeback fight June, July. I will have that.
Unbelievable is the stupidest word in the dictionary. Should never come out of our mouths. Think about it. To say, oh wow, what an unbelievable play. It was an unbelievable book, an unbelievable film, an unbelievable act of courage. Really? It may be spectacular, it may be phenomenal, most excellent or outstanding, but unbelievable?
And it was an emotional thing, but no, I can't put it into words. We blood, sweat, and tears go into this journey, into this chase, and to see everyone else get their credit, the credit they deserve, it's phenomenal.
But what's hard is going, yesterday I got nothing from working as hard as I could. Nothing happened from that. I'm gonna do the same thing again today, but I'm gonna try to go harder. That's the hardest thing in the world. To get up every day and give 100% and be in the same position that you were each day.
People that have a negative mindset have continually thought negatively. People that have a positive mindset have continually thought positively. You see, the things I do today determines the habits I have tomorrow, which determines the mindset that I have for life. So go back to what you do daily and ask yourself, what kind of a mindset am I developing today?
And that's what I am, and that's what I have been.
Literally
And
is a fucking
that's
gladiator.
I make correct decisions even in there, even in defeat. I know when it's if there is an out and it's time to get out. I know when to live to fight another day.
Yes.
So you have to be intelligent in there as well. Otherwise, you won't live to fight another day. Yeah. And that's what happened in my last bout. It did not go my way, but then the fight broke.
If you haven't already, can you define what you have an innate ability for and match that with what you're willing to hustle to get? Yeah. Sometimes we have an innate ability, but we don't want to work for it and we take it for granted.
So we ask people about, well, you know, if you could have your life the way you wanted it in 3 to 5 years, if you were taking care of yourself properly, you know, what would you want from your friendships? What would you want from your intimate relationship? How would you like to structure your family? What do you want for your career? Well, how are you going to use your time outside of your job?
You get up every day, you're entitled to nothing. Nobody owes you nothing. You could have talent, but if you don't have discipline and you don't execute, you don't focus, what do you get? Nothing.
The first step that leads to our identity in life is usually not, I know who I am, I know who I am. That's not the first step. The first step's usually, I know who I am not. Process of elimination. Defining ourselves by what we are not is the first step that leads us to really knowing who we are.
I don't care how good you are in anything, you don't have discipline, you ain't nobody.
Right.
You're nothing without discipline, because you give up under the slightest struggle without discipline.
100%.
I mean, discipline is doing what you hate to do, but do it like you love it.
Doing what you hate to do, but do it like you love it. That is a great quote.
Mm-hmm.
You ever get in a rut? You know what I'm talking about? You get in a funk. You get stuck on the merry-go-round of a bad habit. I have. Look, we're gonna make mistakes. You gotta own them. Then you gotta make amends. And then you gotta move on. Guilt and regret kills many a man before their time. So turn the page, get off the ride.
You're going to have to put some effort into your life, and you need to be motivated to do that. And so what are the potential sources of motivation? Well, you could think about them in the big five manner. You know, if you're extroverted, you want friends. If you're agreeable, you want an intimate relationship. If you're disagreeable, you want to win competitions. If you're open, you want to engage in creative activity. If you're high in neuroticism, you want security. Okay, so those are all sources of potential motivation that you could draw on, that you could tailor to your own, you know, your own personality.
There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living. Now, I'm sure in your experiences in school and applying to college and picking your major and deciding what you want to do with life, I'm sure people have told you to make sure you have something to fall back on. Make sure you got something to fall back on, honey. But I never understood that concept, having something to fall back on.
You got to forgive yourself. See, a lot of us have done some things in the past, or lied to ourselves, or lied to others, or procrastinated, or, you know, all the things we've done has been recorded in our subconscious our whole life. And sometimes we get to the point where deep down, subconsciously, that we're not aware of, we don't think we deserve anything better than we're getting. And that's why we're getting what we're getting. See, you're never going to outperform your own self-image.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid, man. It tastes sweet, but you will get cavities tomorrow, all right? Life is not a popularity contest. Be brave, take the hill, but first answer that question, what's my hill? So, me, how do I define success? For me, myself. Well, for me, it's a measurement of 5 things.
That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you wanna be because of him or her or anybody. Just do that and that ain't you. You're better than that.
What the are y'all waiting for? Start attacking life. I mean, this is some 6th grade lunchroom. Are you really not gonna live your life based on somebody's anonymous icon feedback that you suck? They sucked. It's enough. You've lived your whole life this way. It doesn't matter what they think. When you're 92 and you're sitting there, you're not gonna get.
And we could say each of us have a little bit of light, and if we release that light, if we let it shine properly, Christ, it's too cliched to go on with in some sense, but the world is a lesser place if you do not reveal from within yourself what you have to reveal. And the fact that the world is a lesser place actually turns out not to be trivial.
Knowing who we are is hard. It's hard. So give yourself a break. Eliminate who you are not first, and you're gonna find yourself where you need to be. Number 6,
is gonna do what they do to your planted crops. Now, you got to mentally be prepared for that. But the planting process can never stop. If I could tell anybody anything, keep planting seeds and never stop planting, because you have no idea when God gonna drop all the necessary rain and you look up and everything you need is right there.
So that's like my cup of coffee. And I'm all about armoring yourself. So the second you leave your house, and the second you open your phone, the second you do any of that shit, you are now letting in poison and cancer. So I make sure a lot of things you can't avoid. So as I get up, I start to armor plate my mind and body. Like a person's going to war, you put your body armor on. I wanted to be accepted in some society of life, some social society. And I was like, man, this isn't the right way. I'm messed up here, I'm messed up here, I'm messed up everywhere. And so I realized the worst thing that happened to me is I lost myself. I never had myself, I never found myself. I had no self-esteem. So I knew through working out and through learning, because it took a lot for me to learn also, I started finding self-esteem. Once I found that, that's when doors started opening up. I thought I got to the top of Mount Everest, and Mount Everest just fucking slide right underneath me, man. I was like, God, dog, I gotta start from scratch again. Scratch became my friend, literally, man. So, you know, that's how you put in the book, man. Just going up, going down, going up, just the real raw version of how my life was. And it was so in depth to go back through your life with a fine-tooth comb that I almost got embarrassed to even put it out there to people.
I love that phrase, uncommon amongst uncommon men, because it's such a good phrase, because it just shows you've been on this path for so long and you're grinding for so long, but you're also honest about there's moments where you don't want to fucking do this.
Oh.
Which is why it's so interesting, because you do it.
We can just sit down and do nothing. Or we can see how far we can push the human body. So on that journey, as I started getting more and more into my mind and start realizing that what I'm capable of doing, my mind got stronger. So the pain in my knees, while it sucked, I've been doing it for so long. It was like it became my new norm. Like, okay, my knees hurt, fuck it.
There's something that you realize when you're running a mountain and, you know, you see eagles flying. Nobody gives a fuck about you up there.
No one.
There's no press. No one's watching.
And that's a beautiful thing, man. That's when you really know who you are.
Yeah.
When you get up there, there's no, like the coach is probably back a little bit and you got your little run by yourself and shit. You figure out a lot. You figure out a lot, man. Jacked up. You have nothing left to give and give more.
That is an interesting thing about the mind, is that you can find inspiration, and when you find inspiration, when you get charged up, all of a sudden you have energy.
That's right.
It's right. It's weird.
And I talk about in the book also is about, I learned how to control my adrenals. If you know how you get that fight or flight response